Morning, everyone. So, once again, I am Jonas Bertolome, and I am here to present to you our second topic for GenEd 06 STS, and it is Science and Technology in the Philippines. So, last video lesson, we've discussed all about science and technology in the world, wherein dun natin nakita yung technological and scientific advancement from ancient age up to date sa iba't ibang parte ng mundo, like in Asia, Europe, and other parts of the America. Okay? But right now, we will be focusing on the scientific and technological development of the Philippines over the period of time or from pre-colonial period to the period up to date. Okay? And then we will also identify the influences of colonization to the science and technology of the country. And lastly, we will describe the huge role of education in the development of Philippine science and technology. Okay? But before we proceed to our formal lesson, syempre magkakaroon muna tayo ng game. And ang game natin is sikat na sikat sa Instagram. Maaring ito din is ginawa mo na. It is Guess the Gibberish Game. Okay? So, napakadali lang ng instruction dyan. Out of a group of words or out of group of unfamiliar words, makakabuo ka doon ng iisang word na pag pinagsama-sama mo yung tunog niya, makakabuo ka ng isang word. Okay? So, napakadali lang nito. And it is related to, it is related to our lesson for today. Okay? So, let's start. So, I just want you to be participative and after this game, you should comment down below kung ilan yung naging score mo kasabay nung name mo, tsaka yung section mo. Okay? So, start na tayo. So, first, I will give you 5 seconds to identify the gibberish word. Okay. Bor-o-ang-gay. Ang sagot dyan ay barangay. Okay, barangay. So, kung naka 1 point ka, i-take note mo na yan. Okay? So, next. 5 seconds. How OCR rise all. So, ang tamang sagot dyan ay okay, Jose Rizal. Okay, Jose Rizal yan. So, naka 2 points ka na ba? Okay, next. Next, gibberish word. Okay, mukhang nakatama ka na dito sa word na to. Kasi ang tamang sagot dito, education. So, ang tamang sagot dyan ay education. Okay, education. And lastly, last gibberish word, ain't they a pin din is. So, ang tamang sagot ay independence. Okay, so naka 4 points ka ba? Or naka 3 points, 2 points, or isa lang, or wala? So please comment down below kasabay ng iyong name, pati ng inyong section. Okay, so let's start our discussion about science and technology in the Philippines. Okay, ready na ba kayo? So you may now get your module or printed module and then always fill in the blanks in order for you to gain the necessary information about our lesson. Okay, let's start our topic for this chapter. Okay, so we will first tackle the development of science and technology in the Philippines by understanding the first period in the Philippines, which is the pre-colonial period. So, di ba, we all know that Spanish arrived in the Philippines in 1521. But information about the pre-colonial society, culture, and technology were only based on archaeological findings, accounts by early traders, and narratives from first Spanish missionaries, as there were only few reliable written information available on this. But these sources suggest that the country used to have a number of geographically scattered, self-sufficient autonomous communities called barangay, in which were more of a kinship or social unit rather than a political group. and has a simple level of technological advancement sufficient enough to meet their needs. Therefore, wala pa silang concept about politics. Their only concept is for them to satisfy their needs and to have a social community which is called barangay. Na alam naman natin na iyan is nagmula sa salitang balangay. Okay? Then, early settlers in the country about 50,000 years ago were believed to be now a modern Homo sapiens. Hindi na po sila Australopithecus, Homo erectus, but now a Homo sapiens, which came over from mainland Asia and had reached and lived on Palawan and Batangas by passing over land bridges, which is our theory about the migration of early Filipinos. Di ba? Meron tayong Malay, Indones, yon, yung mga ganong tao nagmula sa iba't ibang parts ng Asia, then pass through land bridges. And then they formed several communities in other parts, including Sulu, Negros, Samar, and regions in Luzon. And in that, they learned to make simple tools by sewing, drilling, and polishing hard stones. Okay, yan yung naging way of living nila in order for them to survive. Okay? But they also produced seashell ornaments and pottery of various designs, which over time were replaced by imported Chinese porcelain, in which sila yung mga naging unang traders dito sa ating Pilipinas, o sa ating bansa. Okay? So, and also, early communities in the Philippines gradually learned to manufacture tools made of copper, bronze, gold, and iron as evidenced by iron slugs, okay, and other tools excavated. Okay, and additionally, itong mga Filipinos or early Filipinos made use of boats for coastal trade like the Caracoa. Parang yun yung sinasabi din natin na balangay. Pero ang tawag sa kanya ay Caracoa, which is a refined plank-built warship best suited for inter-island trade rates. So, ginamit nila yung mga ganyang klase ng warship in order for them to trade inter-island. Okay? And then yun. Next, let's proceed. And by the 10th century AD, yung mga iba't ibang parts ng Philippines like Butuan and Mindoro inhabitants started to have trade relations by Vietnam and China. And then also in Borneo, Malacca, and other parts of Malay Peninsula. So ano-ano po yung mga products na pinag-trade nila, okay? Sa China, include beeswax, may beeswax, cotton, pearl, cloth, iron pots, colored glass beads, iron needles, and tin. So, yun yung pinaka talagang trademark ng China. And further, it was found that Mindanao and Sulu inhabitants traded with Borneo. Yun nga, in other parts of Malayan Peninsula. Okay? So, yun yung mga traded products nila in other parts of the country. Okay. So, sa coastal areas naman, sa mga malalapit sa dagat such as Manila, Mindoro, Sulu, and Southern Mindanao, had more sophisticated technology compared to other areas due to their exposure to foreign trade and cultural influences. An example would be the house of Raha Soliman, which was reported to contain trade articles such as money, copper, iron, porcelain, blankets, wax, cotton, and wooden vats full of brandy, which is an influence in foreign country. Okay? And then, in addition, agriculture was being practiced throughout the country where people were growing crops. Example of these were, ayan, hindi Example of these are rice, cotton, vegetables, and also they were raising farm animals like swine, goats, fowls, and producing wine, vinegar, and bee products. So there were also Filipinos which are mining gold. People during this time lived in wood, bamboo, or nipa houses but wore colorful clothes, which is yung mga nakikita naman natin din sa mga palabas. Self-made jewelry, and even teeth ornamented with gold, which is very trademark ng mga pre-colonial people. They had their own writing and measuring systems. So yung writing system nila, 'di ba, yun yung baybayin, okay? And counted the years by moons, and from one harvest to another. And with that kind of lifestyle, nagkaroon din sila ng sarili-sarili nilang mga beliefs. Okay? However, in more remote areas such as mountain settlements, many Filipinos were still hunter-gatherers. So parang nabubuhay pa sila sa Stone Age. Okay? They were trading with lowland and coastal locals for their gathered forest product and even some of the small tools they were making. So in terms naman po, in religious beliefs, they were believers in superstition. So di ba meron ang tawag sa kanilang Diyos ay si Bathala. Tapos meron din silang Diyos ng araw, Diyos ng Diyos-Diyosan ng buwan, Diyos-Diyosan ng mga iba't ibang heavenly bodies. Okay? So yon. It is because of their lifestyle. It is because of their self-drive or their drive to meet their needs and wants. And because they are being satisfied, they think na maaring there is someone higher than them who are providing for them. So kaya siguro nagkaroon sila ng ganung klase ng belief. Okay? So, yon. Aside from baybayin, they did not develop written literary tradition. So, di ba through word of mouth lamang po ang kanilang pagpapasa-pasa ng literature. Okay? So, these characteristics of pre-colonial Filipinos, so di ba una, they are using stones made of, tools made of copper, nakikipag-trade, tapos influence na din sila ng foreign countries, may agriculture, some are hunter-gatherers. So itong mga characteristics na to have led to the development of science and technology through easier accumulation and dissemination of knowledge. Okay, so those were the things, the development of science and technology in the pre-colonial period. And syempre, punta na tayo dun sa Spanish regime. Okay? The Spanish regime is considered to be the period of birth and modern science and technology in the Philippines. So during this time, so religious orders had great influence on its development as well. Kasi nga 'di ba ang pinaka-goal ng Spanish or ng mga Espanyol nung pumunta sila sa Pilipinas, pero silang tatlo. Kahit nga sa ibang bansa, meron silang tatlong G, which is the gold, God, and glory. Gold in order for them to exploit several minerals or yaman ng iba't ibang bansa. Gold na nga, glory, para sila ay makilala sa iba't ibang bansa, maging isa sa pinakamataas na imperyo, malakas na imperyo. And then God is for them to spread Christianity over several parts of the world. Okay? And this interaction between these forces resulted to political and socio-economic changes which had a huge contribution to the history of the country. So, di ba, ang focus lang before ng pre-colonial persons or community is for them to satisfy their needs and wants. Tapos, more on kinship and a social unit. But right now, pagdating ng mga Espanyol, nagkaroon ng political and socio-economic changes. And the remarkable events and advancement in the Philippine science and technology during the Spanish colonization are presented in the following aspects. First is the politics. Okay? Sa politics, meron po silang una, reduction system wherein this is a strategy of grouping far-flung, scattered barangays into fewer but larger and more compact towns. Kasi nga 'di ba, ang mga barangay before is scattered. So kumbaga kung saan lang yung may resources, kung saan lang dito pwedeng mag-exploit ng mga yaman, dun lang sila mag-tribe. Pero because of reduction system, yung mga magkakalayo mga town is ginawang compact. Ginawa ring malaki, inipon in order for those people na kapag nagkakaroon ng announcement like this, through church bells, ringing of church bells, maririnig po ng mga tao. That is the system of reduction. Kaya po nila ginrupo at mas pinaonti ang barangay pero mas malalaki at mas compact. Okay, the reduction system. And datus and their hereditary successors serve as the heads of cabeza de barangay. Which is yung cabeza de barangay? It is the lowest level of local government. Okay. And also, in this time, centralized political control was established over the country. Okay, centralized na po. Wherein, tribute tax were imposed and collected. So may tax na po, may concept na po ng tax. And compulsory labor services were enforced among the native Filipinos. So kaya nga nagkaroon ng monopolyo y serbisyo. Okay, or polo y serbisyo kasi forced laboring sa mga native Filipinos kasi centralized na yung resources. Dapat tatangkilikin lang yung mga products na ini-impose at gustong ibenta ng Spanish or ng mga Espanyol. Kaya nagkaroon din ng compulsory sale of local products and services in the government. And then, yun yung sa politics. Okay, compulsory sale of local products to the government was implemented. That's under politics. In education naman, syempre sa education, Philippine colonial education system was established with the help of religious orders. Therefore, yung mga priests and friars are the persons which has the major role in the development of education in the Philippines. With that, ayun, technological development and scientific researchers were promoted. And primary education was mainly religious in nature because that's the main agenda of the Spaniards, okay? To spread Christianity incorporated in their education. And then different educational orders were established. School offerings higher education, majority of which in Manila, but mostly accessible to the elite of the society. So the following under Jesuit sector are the Colegio de San Ildefonso, Cebu, Colegio de San Ignacio, Manila, and Ateneo de Manila. So under Jesuit sectors yan. And then in Dominican sector, so mga famous na universities or schools na na-establish were University of Santo Tomas, Manila, and Colegio de San Juan de Letran. Okay? And higher education in this time was initially offered for priesthood and for clerical positions in the government. So mainly for religion and for political purposes lang. But it was only during 19th centuries where yung mga bachelor degrees or BA degrees in science subjects and technical vocational were offered and established. Okay? And dahil doon sa pagkikreate or pag-establish ng mga science subjects and technical vocational schools, maraming Filipinos ang naengganyo. At ang ginagawa nila doon or ang ginagawa ng mga Espanyol, nagpapadala sila ng mga selected Filipino students to Europe for professional advanced studies as prosperity resulted from increased commerce between Philippines and other countries. So sila-sila po yon, si Jose Rizal, so yan po yung pinag-aralan niya, Graciano Apacible, Antonio Luna, and Jose Alejandro. Those were the selected people na talagang nagkaroon ng opportunity to study abroad. Okay? In terms of medicine. More on medicine, tsaka engineering kasi technical, vocational. Okay? So, take note nyo na lang sila. Those were the remarkable events in education. In medicine naman, so there are several Spanish missionaries observed catalog wrote about Philippine plants, especially to those with medicinal value since yun pa lang talaga yung nakikita ng mga Pilipino na may potential na maging part ng medicine which yung mga plants. Okay, one of the most notable writings was Manual de Medicinas Caseras by Father Fernando de Santa Maria in 1763. And then, schools of medicine and pharmacy were opened in 1871 in UST. Okay? And among the first BS pharmacy graduates was Leon Maria Guerrero, who is also referred as the father of Philippine pharmacy after his extensive work on Philippine medicinal plants. And in 1887, Laboratorio Municipal de Ciudad de Manila was established to perform biochemical analysis for public health purposes and specimen examinations for clinical and medical legal cases. Okay? So dito nagkaroon ng studies such as cholera, tuberculosis, leprosy, and beriberi conducted. So yun po yung mga advancement in medicine because of the establishments of several institutions and university, nagkaroon po ng advancement sa medicine. Okay. In agriculture, Philippine exportation of agricultural products started to increase when Manila was opened in 1879 for Asian shipping. So, di ba, before pre-colonial, traded na ang Philippines in inter-island. Okay? And then, dahil dito, sa Asian shipping na to, naging open ang bansa at naging potential ang Pilipinas sa pagtaas ng ekonomiya. Di ba ngayong Manila, Acapulco, or the Galleon, trade, okay? And in 1829, agricultural production accelerated and modernized when foreign capital was allowed to operate in the country. Okay, so maaring nagkaroon din ng malaking role yung foreign capital which is yung nasa Spain sa paglago ng agriculture. And then na-establish dito yung Manila School of Agriculture in 1887 and opened in 1889 to provide theoretical and practical education to Filipino farmers to promote agricultural development in the country. So may naitulong naman din ang mga to sa paglago or pag-cultivate natin ng ating mga lupa. But in general, there was a very little development in country's agricultural sectors during the first 2 centuries of the Spanish regime. But nagkaroon pa din naman ng progression, 'di ba? Because of the role of the foreign capital in establishing the agriculture in the Philippines. And then, in terms of economy, syempre, nandiyan malaking role yung galleon trade or the Manila-Acapulco trade. Okay? Wherein, naging dependent talaga doon yung mga Spanish colonizers. So, dito, tumaas ang profit nila. Okay? At ang Manila emerged as the entrepot of the Orient. Parang naging isang malaking open area for business and trade. Okay, so Chinese goods like silk, cloth, porcelain, which is sikasiladan, were brought to Latin America from Manila in replacement for Mexican silver. So goods were brought to Manila by ships from Japan. And then Portuguese ships from Siam or Thailand, India, Malacca, Borneo, and Cambodia were carried to Mexico by galleons. So, yun po ang mga several advancements sa Spanish. So, meron tayong politics, education, medicine, agriculture, and economy. At maidagdag lang naman natin, so madaming naging profit yung mga yung Spanish because of the Manila-Acapulco trade or the galleon trade. But at the same time, domestic economy was affected by the galleon trade kasi dahil doon na-neglect po yung na-neglect yung local products or yung local agriculture, mining, and handicraft industries. Kasi nga mas nag-focus sa pagpapalago doon sa Manila-Acapulco trade. Okay? But still naman, naging tiger economy, parang ganun na din ang Philippines because of this economy. Okay? And now, let's proceed to Spanish regime. Okay? But, syempre, before nating i-discuss yung Spanish regime, alam natin na yung Spanish regime ended with the country being recognized for its primary agricultural exporting capacity. Pero because of the lack support for the development of other Philippine native industries, they did not survive the competition with foreign imported products. However, naging noted naman that education, medicine, and pharmacy remained the most developed professions in the science field during this period. And kung yun yung naging focus ng Spanish dito sa American regime, iba. Okay, in the American regime, it marked the rapid development of science and technology in the Philippines. Napaka-laki na naging contribution nila in the development of science and technology. And those contributing factors in the development were the following. Number one, they encourage and support extensive public education system. They also give scholarship grants in science and engineering. They organize and establish science research agencies and establishments of science public services. So, mas nag-focus sila sa science, sa development ng science, technology through education. through establishment of proper education system. And specifically, the following activities paved the way for the development of science and technology. These are the following. So number one, secularized public education. It means na wala na pong involved yung religion dito kasi this was the time when the state and religion were now, or state and church were now separated. Therefore, it is now secularized. Okay? And then, Department of Public Instructions was established in the country to produce school offerings, free primary education with English as a medium of instruction. And then, syempre, Philippine Normal School was put up to serve as training ground for Filipino teachers. Philippine Normal School is now Philippine Normal University. Okay, kasi dyan talaga specialized ang PNU sa pagte-train ng mga teachers. And then, yun nga, secondary schools were opened in 1902 and then followed by the establishment of other professional and technical institutions which later become part of University of the Philippines. And then, syempre, napakagaling po. Nagkaroon din po ng advanced training abroad for qualified Filipinos leading to the gradual replacement of foreign faculty in the country. Di ba nga una, ang naging teachers ng Philippines are the Thomasites. But because of advanced international trainings for Filipino teachers, so pwede na nilang palitan yung mga foreign teachers para naman kahit papaano, Filipinos na ang nagli-lead in terms of education. And also, yun nga, there is an act also to financially support high school students to take teaching, engineering, medical, and law courses in the United States. Okay, so yun na po ang in-offer. So before, di ba, clerical, religious yung parang ina-applyan after mo mag higher education. Pero ngayon, focus na sa science, medical, and law courses. So talagang malaking tulong din ang ginawa ng Americans because maaring hindi tayo nagtitake ngayon ng medtech kung wala sila. Okay? So yun. So the demand for professional education also increased. However, siyempre yung UP, 'di ba sila yung unang school or unang tertiary school na na-produce. Hindi nila ma-handle yung increasing demand. So this made private education an alternative to professional education to a number of Filipinos. So nagkaroon na po ng Private School Act. So yung Private School Act or Private Sector Act is enacted to recognize the increasing number of private schools as educational and not commercial institutions. So, yeah. So, itong mga institution na to ay sinusupervise ng Department of Public Instruction which was mentioned earlier. And then meron din tayong tinatawag the Office of Private Education which is established to look in such matters that would lead to the improvement of its educational machinery as physical plant facilities, equipment, and administrative regulations. And then the Bureau of Government Laboratories which was reorganized and renamed as Bureau of Science was established. And ito po, this served as the primary research institution of the government until the end of World War II. And then, na-establish din po ang National Research Council of the Philippine Islands in 1933. Okay, responsible for scientific research in the country as well. So these are the following offices organized in the country that contributed to the development of scientific researches: Bureau of Health, Bureau of Mines, Bureau of Forestry, Bureau of Agriculture, Weather Bureau, Bureau of Coast and Geodetic Survey, Bureau of Plant Industry and Animal Industry. So as you can see, nag-focus ang Amerika in cultivating, in maximizing the richness of our country in terms of our forestry, agriculture, plant, animal. Kasi nakita talaga din ng Amerika kung gaano kaganda ang bansa at kung gaano nila ma-exploit yung mga resources at paano nila yon magagamit optimally. Okay? So, yun. Pero aside from that, 'di ba? Nakapag-create naman talaga sila ng madaming mga institutions. Okay, the American regime in the Philippines ended with its economy having remained agriculturally defined. This was despite the higher education opportunities given to Filipino people in the fields of science and engineering. However, it must be realized that Philippines and United States trade relations continued even after the country attained its independence in 1946. Okay? So dapat siguro nagpatuloy pa rin yung trade nila. Kasi mas de-develop pa talaga ang ating bansa. Okay? So right now, let's proceed to the Commonwealth Period. Okay, the Commonwealth Period or the inauguration of the Philippine Commonwealth was established in 1935 and it marked the beginning of the country's transformation to a politically independent nation. So we are now politically independent. Because nagkaroon na din, dito na din ginagawa yung constitution. At ito nga, the importance of the economy of promoting scientific development was acknowledged as reflected in the newly created Article 8, Section 4 of the Constitution, stating that, yun nga, the state shall promote scientific research and inventions, arts and letters shall be under its patronage. Okay? And then yun, dito din nagkaroon ng re-establishment ng Office of Private Education. Yun, kasi nag-stop siya in 1932, tapos na-re-establish yung Office of Private Education. And then, during this period also, Commonwealth Period, na mas dumadami daw po yung mga school children. And dahil doon, in-expand po yung public school system. Okay. So, yun. Because of the establishment of private education also, or Office of Private Education, it paved way to opening additional government-recognized private schools. Okay? And then, to work towards sustaining the Philippine political independence, so the government established the National Economic Council to address the country's economic and financial questions. Okay, some corporations that were formed was NPC, NDC, NAOFC, and the like. Okay? And then, however, despite every efforts, the goal of the Commonwealth government of economic self-reliance was not attained. Yes, we are politically independent, but our economic self-reliance was not attained. It is due to foreign trade policies still controlled by the American government and as well as the occupation of Japanese troops in the country, which began in 1941. Itong mga Hapones na to led to the destruction of various institutions built for the country's science and technological development. So grabe pala ang naging impact din ng mga Hapong ito, 'di ba? This included the reduction to ruins of Manila that then served as the Philippine Center of all educational and scientific endeavors. So sininira lang naman din po ng mga Hapon ang center of excellence natin in terms of science and education. Okay? Ito mga Hapon po ito. Okay? Though may cultures lang na ipasa, pero in terms of scientific development, wala po silang naiambag. Okay? So those are the major events in the Commonwealth period. And right now, we will proceed to period since independence. So the last period up to date. Okay, after the country regained its independence in 1946, the support for scientific and research and development through education was continued. Several state and even private universities and college were established and or organized since then. And then, these institutions were supervised by the Department of Education and Culture. Okay? And then, this development in the educational sector of the country led to the tremendous increase in the number of college graduates. So because of those pagre-reorganize. However, small proportions of them were into agriculture, science, and engineering. This was due to the perceived low employment opportunities, longer periods of study, and their non-affordability for the public. So, madami pala dahilan. So, yun pala yung mga dahilan kung bakit hindi din nagkaroon ng benefit sa mga graduates yung kanilang napag-aralan. Less employment opportunities, hindi pa na-accommodate ng ating bansa. Longer period of study, o nga naman, science, medicine, di ba? Medtech, doctor, di ba? And their non-affordability for the public. Okay, so since 'di ba American regime, madami na pong mga learning institutions, scientific institutions ang na-establish. And the increase in the number of learning institutions in the country entailed the birth of various science agencies of the government in the period since independence. And some of them were the following. So number one is the Institute of Science from the organization of the Bureau of Science, and this purpose is for resource survey, testing, and standardization. Next is the Institute of Nutrition with research, advisory, and extension duties. Okay. And the next one is the Science Foundation of the Philippines for encouragement of science and engineering researches and for promotion of science awareness among Filipinos. So talagang nagkaroon talaga ng focus sa science and technology. And then Commission on Volcanology for basic researches on volcanology since we are a country with many volcanoes. However, Yan. However, from the Bell mission of US, recommend that the Philippines systematically explore its natural resources to determine their potentials in defining the economic development of the country. And then this was after its survey reported that local industries lack basic technical information, experimental works were disregarded, and scientific researches had low national budget allocation. And because of this, the Institute of Science and Technology, which were former as the Institute of Science, was born with additional roles in improving industrial activities and encouraging technological development. And in addition, to address this deterioration of science in the country, the Congress enacted the Science Act of 1958, which is RA 2067, and this created the National Science Development Board or NSDB, which is responsible for making science developmental policies and for coordinating the activities of various science institutions. The organizations of the following, the organizations of NSDB were expanded through the addition of more science agencies, including this. Okay? So, yan pong mga yan. Okay, na-expand po ang function ng NSDB. And also, some existing agencies were also placed under NSDB for policy coordination, such as MIRDC, SFP, PSHS, Philippine Science High School, and PCARR. And then, year after, in 1982, NSDB was further reorganized, becoming the National Science and Technology Authority. From NSDB, rather, it became NSTA with four research development councils, namely PICARD, okay, or Philippine Council for Agriculture and Resources Research and Development. Okay, number two, Philippine Council for Industry and Energy Research Development. Number three, Philippine Council for Health and Research Development. And last is the National Research Council of the Philippines. So those four were the major things na kailangan ding pagfokusan ng ating bansa. Kaya yan yung naging four major council ng NSTA. And then, to increase in the number of Philippine science institutions provided opportunities also for local science manpower to conduct researches and to staff universities and college. A national network of centers of excellence in basic science was then established to further improve science and technology in the country and its manpower. And 6 new institutes were opened: the National Institutes for Physics, Geological Sciences, Natural Sciences Research, Chemistry, Biology, and Mathematical Sciences. And then, moreover, so scientific career system was introduced by the country through the Civil Service Commission to um, encourage young individuals to pursue science careers and more qualified scientists to work in the government. But as you can see, 'di ba? As you can see right now ngayong panahong ito, parang mapapansin niyo na parang hindi recognized pa rin ang bansa or hindi pa rin nakikilala ang ating bansa in terms of mga scientists. More on ilan-ilan. though remarkable din, pero hindi pa tayo nakikilala as one of the center of excellence in science. So, parang ano na, okay? So, yun. And then, on January 1987, by the virtue of or Executive Order 128, the National Science and Technology Authority, or NSTA, was elevated and converted to become the Department of Science and Technology to meet the increasing demands for intervention of science and technology in national development. So today, science and technology sector of the country is still represented by the government through the OST. It significantly plays a role in pursuing the declared state of policy of supporting local scientific and technological effort, developing local capability for technological self-reliance, and encouraging greater private sector participation in national research and development. So, yan nga ang ginagawa ng DOST, which was influenced by the several regimes na nag-influence sa atin, 'di ba? So, itong DOST to, siya yung nagbibigay ng scholarship sa mga aspiring students, aspiring scientists, pati din sa mga nakagraduate na gusto pa mag-pursue studies in science and technology. Nagpo-provide sila ng fund. Okay? Nagbibigay din sila ng extensive services sa mga tao in relationship to science and technology. Maraming nagawa ang DOST, pero kailangan pa rin nating i-improve ang ating sector na yan in order for us to be renowned as a center of excellence also in science and technology. Madaming kailangan gawin, pero makakamit din natin yan. Okay? So, yun lamang ang ating lesson for today. It's the development of science and technology in the Philippines from pre-colonial period until period since independence. So I hope na may natutunan kayo, and then after this lesson, proceed na po kayo sa Google Classroom nyo for discussion questions, and then proceed na rin tayo sa next lesson natin, which is lesson 3. Okay? So that's it, class. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving time for this lesson. I hope na may natutunan kayo lahat. Thank you guys, and see you next meeting. Bye-bye.